Hey friends, welcome to Andy's Audio Crap, where we talk about audio gear and all of its glory. Today's glory is going to be a Sansui 7000, a 5500, a Pioneer SA 9100, and a Marantz 2252.
This video's sponsor is Andy's Audio Crap on eBay, where you'll find used parts, new old stock, kits, and occasionally gear. Thanks for your support.
All right, the 7000 is actually unique in that it is the largest wattage, 70 watts per channel, cap coupled, that Sansui put out. And cap couple is basically just a design that allows for a capacitor on the output side. So there's a capacitor before your speaker terminal, right? And basically that just offsets some damage that could happen to your speaker if things went awry. Relays, once those came along, that helped, and over time they stopped doing cap coupling. Now when I say they, it's the broader scope of receivers, right? And Sansui wasn't special in that they were the only ones that did it. That's what makes this special, is that this was the largest one they did it in. And over time, because of the way that design changed, they changed it. It was really expensive to add a large capacitor on the output side. So what they did is they just did away with it. And that did change the sound somewhat. Now I put a bunch of other receivers up here just basically because I wanted to talk about the way they sounded. And like the 5500 is a little bit later. Like you'll have the 5000A, the 5000X, and the sound kind of drifted over time. And I think it's drifted because of markets, right? The type of music that was being played on them was way different than this, which I believe is late 60s. In my opinion, early Elvis, early Beatles, the Monkees, who else? The Beach Boys, they all sound absolutely phenomenal on this unit because they were really, they built this unit around playing that type of music. And it just sounds warm. It has a very wonderful, enlightening soundstage to it. And there's just nothing that really beats the Sansui 7000 at that type of music. Now, when I play modern music on this, it doesn't sound so great. It just doesn't do it right, if that makes sense. So it rolls off a little bit towards the mid 70s, early 80s. They just didn't pop. The music didn't pop, if that makes sense. I'm sure it does. And the same goes for this Pioneer SA 9100. Yeah, SA 9100. It sounds absolutely spectacular at that late 60s, early 70s music. But you put it against, like, gosh, you throw something at it like Metallica, oh my God, it sounds horrible. And so while this has a place in my heart, I love it. I think it sounds absolutely beautiful, particularly on the music it was built to play. This Marantz just does everything so well. Even modern music, it plays modern music pretty darn well. The point would be is that this was built to play like the Led Zeppelins and the Pink Floyds, and it even sounds good with Metallica. The point is not necessarily to ding the Sansui, but just to bring to your attention that when you buy one of these, it's not going to sound like one of these or any of the others. It's gonna sound like a vintage Sansui. And whether it's the cap coupling that did it, or whether it's their circuitry or what have you, the Sansui sounds really, really, really good with that late 60s, early 70s music. This is kind of turning into a Frankenstein video here. I hope that made sense. But my point being is that this thing absolutely has its place. It sounds great. It's a wonderful receiver. This one is too. That one is too. It just really depends on what you're going to listen to. If you're going to listen to modern music, you might just look at a more modern receiver. I think you'd be doing yourself a favor, because these were built to play certain music at a certain time, and they do it really, really well. All right, now we're going to go over to the bench and we're going to talk about the Sansui 7000 here, now that I'm done with my rant. Now, one of the drawbacks of the Sansui 7000, in my opinion, is that when you take it out of FM or AM, you lose the front lights. Now, I am playing it on a CD through aux, so we're going to turn that on. Now, the speakers it's playing on aren't that great, but it still does sound pretty good. And on this type of music, it does absolutely wonderful job. Again, I would not go through and play Metallica on this and expect it to sound good versus like a Kenwood from the 90s. Those are absolutely killer at Metallica, in my opinion. All right, so we're going to go through the features on this from left to right. Now, the stickers on these little push buttons tend to come off, and so when you find one of these, you'll probably find that it has replacement stickers. Now, the power is the power, right? You kind of know what the power does. I hope you know what the power does. The low filter and high filter are generally for like FM, AM, and phono, and you may use them as kind of a proxy for Dolby if you're playing tape. So basically they're going to take the high and the low fuzz out. The low filter is particularly good for speaker fluctuation when the speaker starts to just sit here and vibrate back and forth. The muting does what the muting says. The loudness does what the loudness says. Now, the loudness on the Sansui 7000 is exactly the same as the others in the thousands series. I think even the circuitry is the same, if I recall correctly, is essentially exaggerating the high and the low within the curve. The reverse is just for the reverse of your stereo, so in case you wired it wrong, you have the reverse button there to fix it for you. Mono is going to take the stereo function out, just make everything mono. Tape 1, tape 2, those are your tape loops, and then your FM muting off. Now, it does have, which is really cool, it does have 3 sets of speaker outs on it. Let's look back here at the back so you can see this yourself. We're going to pause that there. The 3 sets, and they're the clip style, which I'm not really a big fan of the clip style. I would almost rather see screws than these type of clips. They did that over here on the AM FM as well. If you see one of these advertised as not working, they couldn't make sound come out of it, and you see these missing, man, you've got a deal coming your way potentially if you can get a hold of it. I did find one once that was missing the jumpers, and when I got a pair of jumpers and plugged them in, guess what? She lit right up. And that's another thing about these. Most of them are running. The other cool thing about the Sansui 7000 particularly is that it had Phono 1 and Phono 2. Not only did you get 2 tape loops, but you got 2 phono ins as well, which is freaking spectacularly awesome. All right, we're going to go back to the front here. I'm going to turn some volume back on. There we go. Let's get some drama music. Now, the bass and the treble have a left-right function, you can see here, and I use it some of the times, but in some of my other receivers. I've not even tried this one. But the knobs for this, in the last 3 years on eBay, only 1 set has ever been listed. So if you're missing these knobs, chances are you're probably not going to find a set. Volume does what volume does, balance does what balance does, mic level, the selector, the function selector, and the tuning. Now, the weird thing about these is that almost every one of them that I've experienced has had FM drift, and that means that you'll tune in a station, listen for maybe 10, 15 minutes, and all of a sudden it'll start to drop and drift the station. That's just a symptom of, usually just a symptom of dirty parts, and good cleaning will help fix that. I'll let you Google how to do that. The other thing is that these knobs are all screwed in. So if you go to pull these and it's not coming, just release the lock nut, the lock screw, whatever you want to call it. I believe that's the way that every one of them are. And yeah, you'll just have to experiment that on your own. All right, so basically these things are absolutely beautiful. They're to die for good. Recapped version in pristine condition. Now, pristine is going to be in the eye of the beholder. Let's define that first of all. This top part here, I have yet to run into one that does not have any wear marks on it. You'll probably have to deal with some wear marks here, but there are guys out there who will take these off and repaint them. But anyways, I digress. Pristine example of these, recapped, ready to go, just in wonderful condition, will run you somewhere around $1,000. Now, is it worth $1,000? Are you going to be able to find anything even remotely like this? If you like the Sansui sound, you like the cap coupled sound, you need wattage, this is your baby. This is what you're going to have to get. And this one is actually spoken for already, and I only listed it last night. So they move pretty quick when they become available. All right, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and y'all have a good day.